Hi everyone, I am back with the 2017 Mickey and Minnie card series. This is the first part of the video that will be at the beginning of every video for the series for you. And this is the cutting of the cardstock to create the corner fold for the card. So what you need is your card base, which is going to be 5.5 by 8.5. I will just zoom out a little so you guys can see. So you need a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece for your card base. I'm using black again. Then you're going to score that at 4.25, and then you're going to need a trimmer. Now I've got the Stampin' Up trimmer, which is perfect for this. I know Fiskars has one that's similar, that's got the little V-blade that you can get, and the reason that we're using one like this is because we are cutting in the middle of the card, so a rotary cutter is just not going to work. You're not going to get the precise cut that you need. So if you've got this type of trimmer already, perfect. If not, Stampin' Up does carry these, and there's always a link in the description below. So yeah, now what I did with mine is, I'm going to zoom back in. I have marked mine, as you can see, with some white cardstock. So the measurements that you're actually going to be using are going to be the 5/8 mark, the 2.5, the 3, and the 4 7/8. The reason I marked mine is if I move this cardstock out of the way, there's a dark brown print underneath this, and I can't really read that when I have darker cardstock underneath there. So I just took a thin piece of washi tape and just wrote on it with a really fine Sharpie, and there you have it. So let's get to the cutting. Now here's our score mark at the 4.25. So what we're going to do is take this edge of our card, and I am working around my tripod, so excuse all the arms and hands in the way. So we're going to line this up at the 3-inch mark. We're going to take our blade, move it to the 2.5, and we're going to cut, down to the 4 7/8. So you should have a little cut there. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to line it up at the 3 again. Then we're going to move our blade to the 3-inch. And we're going to cut upward to the 5/8. And you should have a little slit like this. So that's how you do the cutting. Okay, so now that we have our card base scored and our little cut made, we're going to go ahead and just fold this in half. And where is my bone folder? There it is. And just crease that. Then with our little cut pieces here, all you're going to do is just take it and fold it back, and it will just fold right on itself there. Go ahead and crease that, and there we have the little corner fold piece, just like that. So now we can start doing our decorating. And the paper pad that we are using, again, I just love this paper pad, is the 4 Seasons and Everything in Between from the Paper Studio, sold at Hobby Lobby. These are all of the prints. There's about 3 prints for each section. So I'm actually going to be using pretty much all, well, that one's got 4, so it just depends. I'm going to be using 3 different prints from each section. So the ones for this one, since New Year's to me is always kind of winter themed and I don't have a lot of like New Year party kind of paper, I'm just using the snowflakes, I'm using the stripes, and then I'm using the one that has the little like winter words on it. So those are the 3 patterns I'm using, and then all of my mats are white cardstock. So we're going to go ahead and do this base piece here, which is going to be our large panel underneath our little fold right here. So all I did was I cut this to, because I didn't mat it. You could mat it if you want to, but I didn't really see that it was necessary to do that. So it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring out some type of ruler, and we're going to do a couple little marks on here. So from your left corner on the top, you're going to measure over 5/8 of an inch and just put a little mark there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a little mark there. And then from your bottom right corner up, so going upward, you're going to measure 1 7/8 and put a little mark there. Okay, so then you're going to bring in your trimmer, whatever trimmer you use. I'm just using this Fiskars one real quick. So we're going to just line up our little pencil marks here diagonally on the cutting mat. And we're just going to give that a good slice, just like that. So we've got our diagonal cut. Super easy. Then you can go back and just kind of erase those little pencil marks, and then you'll see that is exactly how it's going to look when you glue it down. So there we have that. So let's go ahead and adhere that. So all I did was just take this piece and kind of butt it up against this fold here, and that's what gives me my 1/8 of an inch border all the way around it. So we're going to go ahead and just glue this down. And then we can work on the rest of the card. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to slide it in there. Just like so. And just press that down. So there we have our first pattern. Now our little center square here, or our little corner fold, oh shoot, I forgot, you can't put it on this piece here. Okay, I totally forgot that that's going to hang out. See, I always make some kind of boo-boo sometimes too. So I'm just going to rub this off. I do have a small fix for this that I didn't think about doing firsthand. So I think I'll do that first in all the rest of the videos. No, because I always have to make a mistake at some point. Okay. So when you're gluing, when you're adhering your pattern to the front, if you choose to do so, you do not have to do that. You don't want to put this strip of adhesive right here because it will glue it to the inside, which is what I did. But it came off pretty simple. So, and actually we're going to cover this up on the inside also. So I think the next video, that's where we'll start, is covering the inside first, and then we can adhere the front and not worry about it. So anyway, your square on the front is basically a 3 by 3 square if you measure it. So I cut some white cardstock at 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. Then I'm going to use my stripes on the front, and that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So we're going to go ahead and just layer these up and get that right on the front. My tape is kind of running low, so it's getting a little stiff. Okay, so we'll just layer this together like so, and then we'll just put this right on the front. And then we have another one of these to do on the inside, if you choose to. So put our stripes on here, and then this is going to give us that 1/8 of an inch black border, just to kind of break it up. So there we have that. Okay, so then on our inside piece here, we have another piece of the white, which is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and then I cut the little winter words again at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and we're going to go ahead and stick this one right here on the inside, and it'll cover up this white piece here from the paper on the front. So this is an optional thing. I just like it for cosmetically on the inside to look better. So let's just get this on here, and then we'll glue this right down. Then we have just a white piece of cardstock that we're going to stick over on this side. So there we have that on the inside. And this piece measures, I totally forgot, this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. So maybe it's not. I think I cut this one at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Let me double check. Yes. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 for our little message mat here. And we're going to stick that straight down. Then we will do some stamping. Okay, so when you line this up, you're going to get that 1/8 of an inch of that black border on here, like that. So there's the inside of our card, there's the outside of our card. So let's get some stamping done. And we're going to go ahead and do our sentiment, which I'm using the Teeny Tiny Wishes for the Happy New Year. So this is still current for Stampin' Up, and it's just this one right here. I'm going to use some Marina Mist. Kind of goes pretty well with this blue inside this paper pad. So we're just going to stamp that, and we're going to punch it out with the word window punch, which is a retired one. So it's not available now, but you can always probably find it on eBay, or if you know someone who likes to keep up with the more current punches and stuff. So, you know, there's always like Facebook sale groups and stuff like that too, that you can always check. So I'm also going to use the Modern Label Punch, which is another retired one, unfortunately. But they work so well together, and I'm just going to punch out just the black, and I'm going to go ahead and get some rhinestones. So just little rhinestones. We'll go ahead and put those on. And then we will go ahead and adhere our Happy New Year to that. So we'll go ahead and put this on here. Like so. So there's our Happy New Year. And I'm using a little snowflake stamp. It's a stick from Stamps by Judith, and I will put a link in the description for this. There's also a link in the supply video, and I show you guys all the ones that I'm going to be using. These are all the ones that I own. I just put them in this little Starbucks cup. I've kind of upcycled it as my little stamp stick holder. So I'm going to stamp these snowflakes right here on the front. And we're going to do, okay, I had to look at my little sample one. I'm going to use the Marina Mist, and I just stuck it in there. So let me grab a wipe. Not a good thing to do. It's not going to come all the way off, I don't think. Oh well. It'll definitely look used. Okay, so I'm just going to take my little snowflake and I'm going to stamp over here in the corner first. Just a little snowflake. And then I'm going to stamp probably 3 more over here. And then we'll do 3 across the top. Oh, that one's a little blurry. There we go. I'll get down the sticks. They're kind of a new thing to use. So there we have that. Our stamping is done. Close this ink pad up before I make a bigger mess. So there we have our little snowflakes. And our Happy New Year, and here's Minnie's bow. It's just the eyelet ribbon I show in the supply video that I use for all of my Mickey and Minnie cards. Here's our 2 little heads here, and I will link the video on how to make the Minnie and Mickey heads. Well, Mickey heads, basically. Becomes Minnie when you add the bow. And let's go ahead and glue those 2 to the front. So we'll just get these guys on here. And let's see. Kind of like that. Let's get the other one on. We can add our bow, and then we can add our sentiment, and the card is pretty much done. It's actually a quick card, like the rest of them pretty much for the other series. You just have a little bit more cutting involved on this one to create this little fold for the corner. Okay, so glue dot. We'll add the bow. So there's Minnie's bow, and we'll grab a couple of dimensionals to put on the back of our sentiment here. And if you don't have the word window punch and the modern label punch, it's not that big of a deal. You can just cut your sentiments out however you need to and just fit them, you know, right on the front. So I'm going to try to just kind of eyeball the center if I can. Like that. And if you don't want your flap coming up, you can take a little bit of adhesive, or you can take a little bit of score tape, which I'm actually going to do the score tape So I'm just going to tear off a little piece of this 1/2 inch scrappy tape. So you can just tear a piece off and you can just stick that under here and then just peel off your liner. After I get it to stick. There we go. And then just give that a good press and it should stay down for a long time. So there we have the outside and there we have the inside of the card. You can add or take away or whatever to, you know, change this up a little bit and make it how you want it. But that is basically how the series is going to go. Pretty easy, like I said, there's just a couple little extra steps with the cutting and that's it. It's a pretty easy card, and as always, links will be in the description below. I hope you guys really like this card and I will see you in my next video. Bye!